D-Lo 404 Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. So Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner is fast approaching. The fight features one of the best fighters of the current, or I don't know if we say the current era or the last era. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather pretty much had their own era where they were the two top guys in the sport. And for a long time it was like 1A and 1B, and you could pick and choose which one was A and which one was B. But what I'll say is, for all that Manny Pacquiao's accomplished in the sport and how great he has been, he is 40 years old. And he's fighting Adrian Broner. I'm not exactly sure how old Broner is. I think he's around 29, 30 years old, 28, something like that. But a significantly younger fighter, much younger in terms of boxing, much younger. But we know what the issue is with Broner. We know that once Broner moved up to 147, he suddenly started trying to emulate Floyd's shell defense, trying to get in that Philly shell, fight off the ropes, and it just doesn't work well for him. His offensive output went down drastically once he moved up in weight. Some people attribute that to the opposition. Some people attribute it to just fighting in that weight class against bigger guys or guys as big as he is, where he doesn't have the size advantage he had fighting at the lower weight. But whatever it is, his lack of an offensive output makes it hard to pick him to beat Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao throws a lot of punches, even at the age of 40. Throws a lot of punches. He's active throughout the course of the fight. There are very few lapses in offense with Manny Pacquiao. With Adrian Broner, he doesn't transition well from offense to defense. He's seemingly like 90% committed to offense or 90% committed to defense at any point in the fight. And for more so than not, it's going to be defense. We talk a lot about Adrian Broner, if he would only let his hands go, what we think his fights could be. Well, the one constant that we've seen with Adrian Broner is that he hasn't been seemingly hurt, dropped, or knocked out. The only time we saw him dropped was against Marco Maidana. I don't think he's been dropped since then. I may be mistaken, but I can't recall another time that he's been knocked down since he moved up at 147. I don't remember him ever being knocked down at the lower weights, but it could have happened. But the thing is, I'm not one of those people who thinks that Adrian Broner letting his hands go fixes all of his woes and all of his issues in his fights. His reluctance to let his hands go and his commitment to defense could very well be the reason we've never seen Adrian Broner on the canvas since the Maidana fight. His reluctance to let his hands go and his commitment to remain on defense, even when he needs to be offensive, may be the very reason we haven't seen him knocked out against anyone. So I think he still has to remain defensively responsible, but I think he needs to pick his spots better and see the openings and actually try to let his hands go when the openings are there. I don't think he could go out there and try to go blow for blow with Manny Pacquiao and try to match him in terms of hand speed or punch output or activity. I think he needs to do what he can to utilize his footwork. He needs to stay off the ropes, because I think if he gets on the ropes, Manny Pacquiao could potentially get a stoppage. And the reason I say that, I don't mean that he knocks him down, drops him, knocks him out or anything. I'm saying that he could hit him with a punch that hurts him while he's on the ropes, and while Broner's sitting there covering up in his Philly shell, Manny Pacquiao unleashes 20, 30 unanswered punches, where even if 5 or 6 of them land, for a lot of referees, that's just too much onslaught with nothing coming back to allow a fighter to take before they'll stop a fight. I mean, so that is for me, that is my biggest concern for Adrian Broner, employing that laying on the ropes, Philly shell type defense. But like I said, Broner has to be more offensive against Manny Pacquiao, but he has to still remain defensively responsible, because there are opportunities to counter Manny Pacquiao. There's always opportunities to counter Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao isn't the best counter puncher, but he's awkward. He throws punches from angles that guys aren't used to having punches come from. So it's not inconceivable that Manny Pacquiao could catch Broner with something in an exchange coming from some awkward angle that he doesn't see and drops it. So it's an intriguing fight. I'm interested in it. Both of these guys have a good following in the sport of boxing, so I expect the pay-per-view to do well. I'm eager to see what the outcome of the fight is. If I'm told, hey, you absolutely have to make a pick on the fight, I think the safe pick is to go with Manny Pacquiao, just based on the body of work as of late, from what you see from both guys. But that said, it's not a fight that I'm just gonna say that it's not even worth watching. You already know what the outcome's gonna be. It's worth it for me to take time out of my day or my evening to watch the fight and see how it's gonna play out. I'm more interested in it as it gets closer to the fight than I was when the fight was first announced. Honestly, when the fight was first announced and I saw what kind of shape Adrian Broner was in, I didn't think he could get in fighting shape, until probably like a week out from the fight. But he seemed to have gotten in fighting shape relatively quickly, considering how he looked. And since then, has been training. He's not just in a fat camp. He's been training for the fight, getting prepared for Manny Pacquiao. Hopefully they studied a lot of film and have a good game plan. I know Pacquiao on his side will be ready. The only concern I have with Pacquiao is him looking forward. He's looking ahead, thinking about the Floyd Mayweather fight, when I think he needs to take care of the matter at hand first. But it is what it is. Shout out to the LDBC. It's D-Lo 404 Boxing. I'm out. Peace.